Hey, welcome to Penny Props, and today we are doing the SIDEKICK. This is going to be an awesome video, so stay tuned and I'll show you how I made it. So I hopped on to Fusion 360 to 3D model the SIDEKICK. I am highlighting bright blue bits and some green bits. The bright blue bits will be printed on my new resin printer, and I'm going to use that for the text and all the little small details, so I don't have to do much work. And the bigger pieces in green will be used on my normal 3D printer. So using my FDM here to 3D print parts. I'm obviously not going to record me 3D printing the whole thing, that will take forever, so here's some little snip bits of it. So there's my resin parts that come out really nice and crisp, so I'm just going to run over my workshop and take that over to my resin cleaning area. I've got acetone I use to clean my 3D printed props from my resin printer. And got some gloves for safety, because safety is very important when dealing with resin. You do not really want to touch that. But as you can see, I'm touching it, but that's fine, it's already been washed. It comes out, the detail in resin printing is beautiful, and if you can get one, I'd recommend it. It's very good to work with a resin printer and a normal 3D printer. They work together very well. So just going to put the into my UV curing chamber. That's where the 3D parts will cure, as the resin needs to be cured in UV light. So I'm going to leave that on for about 10 minutes. So the infamous sanding has begun. So yes, for 3D printing props you will have to sand a lot. And like I said before, I'm not recording the whole thing because I was sanding this thing for at least 2 weeks straight. I'm using some nail files here as well, just to speed up the process a little bit. Taking material off really quickly, and it's really good. I'm using PLA, and it's tough to sand, but PLA Plus is actually really nice to sand. So I glued these two pieces together, and I put a nice coating of resin on all my parts. So I'm going to do another round of sanding, as these things are. And yeah, some more sanding, and then hopefully be able to get to a stage where we can assemble it and start looking at a finished piece. Something else I used is a cabinet scraper. Kind of like it's like a blade with like a slight little bevel in it, like a curve, and it kind of scrapes it off. I use it to do seams. Getting my triangular file, and there's a seam line, so it's actually in the model. There's a nice line going across there, and it's kind of, so I'm just going to bring it back out by using this. So I'm going to continue that along, and then I'll show you the results. Should be enough. It looks wonderful. Sort of clear up this mess here. It's a bit messy due to the overhangs, and I've got to do exactly the same. And I've got to do it on the little circles here, bringing them out a little bit more, and sand this bit off. So being at the stage where I've been spraying it with some filler primer, and then wet sanding it all down with some sanding sponges and some wet and dry paper. So far so good. I'm going to give this a couple of goes, and then we are going to do like a black base coat, see if there's any more imperfections, and rinse and repeat. So I've been doing the repeated surface of spraying, sanding, and I put the black base on. And I'll put some super glue and some holes. There's some little holes and little dents, and we're going to buff them down. There's a seam line here, what I filled in with super glue too, and we're just going to use a trusty nail filers, what I like to cut into different shapes and sizes just to help me, and we are going to buff them down. Some tiny holes left over, but the paint will cover those little bits. You see little bits shining. Do the other side, and we should be done with this piece. So I printed the magazine late because I'm kind of printing while I'm going. So the magazine is friction based, so when you put it in, it stays in. But I've added magnets just as like a safety, just so it stays in there, just in case if it unlatches, the magnets keep it in. Also gives it a nice metal clanking sound, so I'm going to add some magnets into it. So I've done it on both sides, and I'm going to sand it flush like this side. And once it's all sanded and painted, hopefully you won't see the magnet. But if you do, it's not really a big issue for me. So yeah. So now that they're flush, I painted it, and then I decided, you know what? Let's foil it up because I like the shine. And to be honest, it's like I've looked as much reference as I can. The magazine looks like this. It's a bit boring. The bottom looks cool, but just there's no detail. Even on the model itself, I looked at it in slow-mo. It's just a block. So at least make it shiny and make it a little bit more interesting. So I'm gonna apply this on it. So it's all wrapped up. Top's a bit messy, but I'm going to trim all that off and put its own separate piece on there. But now it's too shiny, so I'm going to get some sandpaper. I'm going to dull it. Spin in, spin out, spin in, spin out. Give it a scratch. So I dulled it down a bit. Left the bottom bit more shinier. In contrast to the top where I get a bit more. Wow, so I got this. Add a little bit more scratches into it. So I did off camera, I actually sprayed a little bit of silver on there as well, just so I can take it off. So it gives a bit more contrast between layers. So yeah, it's like a well-worn mag. I then decided to use the same method and apply it to the barrel. Pop it back in, hopefully it all fits. There we go, we've got a shiny convincing tool part now. So as usual, I'm about to do another scary process, so I'll be getting this resin print I did just for the details on the side. So I need to glue that in place and just clean up a little bit. And just slot it in. It's got a little bit bowed, so I'm pushing it down. Few tiny little gaps still, but I'm going to go over it with the spray paint just so I know where I'm at. But anyway, I'll blend it in. Let me just shake my can. I'm going to be using a Montana Gold, olive green. Same one I use on my Spartan suits. I'm not sure if it's a correct match, but it seems pretty close, and during this lockdown I don't really have much choice on what paints I can use. Just got a few more resin parts printing at the moment, but apart from that we're pretty much good to get this done and finished. Now I'm going to glue this whole thing together, just so I know where I'm at, and then afterwards we can do little patch jobs on the prop itself. So glued the main body on. I had to do it off camera because I really needed to focus on aligning it rather than getting a shot. So yeah, I'm going to put the rest of the parts on camera. As you may have noticed, I have done a bit of painting and it looks a bit shiny. It's because I put a clear gloss coat over it just to blend everything together. So I'm going to obviously go around this and dirty up a little bit, but first I need to put all the buttons on. I was thinking of doing a bit of a clean style, just like the Infinite assault rifle. Every Infinite seems a little bit clean, and that's fine by me. They look after weapons, I respect that. So we're going to go into it and finally finish this piece and put all the little buttons on. So I need to just scratch the bottom of this so it sticks better. Probably wondering why I'm doing this glass. It's because I don't want to mask anything. Like, I'd rather paint this piece as it is and then glue it down. So just need to just wrap it up a little bit, give it the glue something to grip onto. And I'll do the same on here. I'm going to dab a little bit. If it falls off, it falls off, no biggie. Just print another one. And hold up for a bit. Hold up. A little bit of glue spot there, but I'll weather it anyway. So this one I put a little bit of glue. I'm not scraping it off because it kind of locks in. It doesn't need glue, but I'm putting the glue there just so it stays, just in case. And I'm going to use a bit of gentle persuasion on this just to get in properly. I think it's very persuaded now, so go move on to this little bit here. This piece is so tiny. You need to touch up the paint in this area as well, but I can go that later, that's fine. Hide my crimes later. Try and get it in. Clear slots in anyway, so the glue just help it. Whew. This is thrilling. Got a bit of activator. Get in there. Oh, this is scary. It's like I said, it's like surgery. So I'm going to flip this over and do the rest off camera. And I'll do this bit off camera because it's tricky as well. Some things I'd rather do off camera. I'd rather get it right than get it wrong on camera, because sometimes I focus so much on getting the camera looking good, and I'm kind of, when I'm doing this, I'm watching it through the camera and I kind of need my own eyes to do bits of that, because this one's tricky to fit in. So doing some painting as usual. I'll be using some oil paints as they give you more time to work with things. For example, if I use acrylic, make a mistake, I don't really have much like working time to correct that. Oil paints, it takes at least 24 hours to dry, so I'm going to work oil paints and then just leave it overnight, and hopefully by tomorrow it'll be dry enough just to finish the video. But anyway, I'm going to use some brushes. I'm going to make a black wash. So I've got this thick black oil paint. I've got some little bit of water here. I'm going to make a bit of a wash. So I do my usual procedure of putting it on and badly cleaning it, I like to say. Clean from the center so it keeps the edge dirty. Oops. Oopsie daisy. That's right, I can glue it back together. Good enough for me, for now. So I'm gonna let you dry. Just do the magazine now, I don't want to do too much. There you go, just nice and subtle, nothing too dramatic. Just a suggestion that it was a little bit dirty. So yeah, I'm going to leave that to dry for a second. And then I'm going to look over. So I'm going to let that dry, and yeah. And that's it really for now. And we are done. I'm so happy how this turned out. So I'm just going to quickly tell you small changes I made off camera, and that is I added the circle because I lost it during the sanding and the painting process. So I added it with a little gunmetal rivet. What I think looks a lot better. It looks a bit more realistic anyway. And I added a pin for the trigger. And instead of a bolt, I added a washer because it just looks a bit more closer to Infinite. So I'm going to quickly break away from camera, show you in its full glory as a mini prop showcase, and I'll speak to you soon. If you got this far, thank you so much for watching. I put a lot of effort into this video, so I'd really appreciate it. You hit the subscribe button, give me a like, and comment what you'd like to see next. So anyway, as usual, thank you so much guys, and I'll see you very soon.